former President Donald Trump, he seems like he might be losing a little bit of momentum with his MAGA types because, as you'll see in this video, he showed up at Mar-a-Lago and he needed a little bit of support, if you would. Watch. There you see the president asking for applause and praise to a smattering of cheers and woos, because that's helpful. And then he walks off because he's now fulfilled. Everyone thought this, so don't act like this is just me. Please clap is the first thing people thought.
I won't be out there blowharding, talking a big game without backing it up. I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
I still feel bad for Jeb from that moment. That was the beginning of the end of Jeb's 2016 run. Donald Trump buried him in every possible way he could, talked about his family, his mother, his brother, his dad. It went from there. And now, seemingly we might have Trump in that same boat because he comes out at Mar-a-Lago, not even at a political event or a campaign event. It was, can you guys give me something?
I'm concerned, and I wanted you see if you guys can rerun the video, because you'll notice how, and you did it pretty well, the imitation there, how he just uses like his little arms, he puts his elbows out. I mean, that's kind of a weird way to try to encourage people to sort of clap. Most people sort of gesture more wildly, unless you're having some, I don't know, health issues, or your arms are sore, or there's something going on in your armpits that makes it difficult for you to move anything except beyond your elbows. I don't know. I mean, it just seems to me that, and I don't want to spread the conspiracy theories that, oh, Donald Trump is not in good health. I just don't think he's in good health mentally or physically, and he just looks feeble, and he looks like a shell of a human being, and so pathetic that there he's walking around Mar-a-Lago trying to get his own guests to cheer him on. It's it's sad.
It's a little sad, and honestly, I wonder if I'm sitting there and then the former president comes out in one of these, you can't even say if they're necessarily supporters. I don't know the event. I'm not sure what was happening, who all even shows up at Mar-a-Lago. There could be members that are like, I don't like that guy. But then if you get someone that's asking you to elicit this kind of response, don't you kind of feel like a sucker too? Like, oh, let me cheer for you. Oh, that boy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would think people would say, if I'm the president of the United States and I want people to cheer for me, I would say, I'd be really animated about it. I'd say, hey, how about some, I wouldn't just sort of go like, with my little elbows and my little hands, going like this, because then it's sort of like, oh, he really is just sort of, pathetic and wanting us to clap. So, okay, we'll sort of clap a little bit with our little hands like this. No, he wants some energy. Show some energy for your crowd.
No. This is the thing. He needs it. He doesn't have the energy until they give it to him. Again, this is I bring up the prediction all the time. I don't think he's gonna run in 24. I just don't think he will, because he needs that support and he needs that kind of continual push. It's starting to wane on him. I think a lot of these candidates, a lot of these former current MAGA politicians who've kind of jumped behind him, like the Lindsey Grahams and the Chris Christies of the world, they're beginning to realize this isn't gonna last much longer. And now if I continue to go down with this, because I've already destroyed my reputation enough, which little reputation I did have in many circles, they're looking to still poach his supporters, but then not have to sit behind him. And they're hoping his popularity wanes and they can just take that popularity. We'll see if it works, but it looks like it's beginning to be the first step of him losing some of it. I don't know.
Well, and that is a really interesting point, because you talk about the last couple of rallies that he's had. We went down to Florida and covered one where they, thousands of empty seats. They had a lot of empty seats up in Arizona. There is this at least feeling out there that sure, the diehards are always going to be with Donald Trump, but in terms of sort of mass popular appeal, it is starting to wane. And so you have, as you pointed out, some of the other Republicans who still want to get the base, still want to appeal to the Trump supporters, but Trump himself, who's used to tens of thousands of people showing up at his rallies, and he thrives on that. He thrives on that energy, as you point out. He's not getting it now. And I think his greatest fear, aside from possibly losing, might be that he actually does run and people say, you know what, your crowds are not even half what they were the last time you were for president. And clearly this is a sign that you're over the hill and people have lost interest in you. I think that would devastate him.
There's gonna be some serious problems.